Peace, bro. How you doing? This is your brother Mikey Fever, and this is another episode of NYP Talk Show, the live show with our good brother, our favorite guest, the knowledgeable, the walking Morris, Ron, Circle 7, Reef, Anil, Mother Bay is in the building. Listen, we having fun, man.
What's going on? What's going on, bro?
I'm good, my brother. How you feeling, man? How's your day?
I'm good. Not bad at all. Had a pretty productive day, man. Just, got done teaching class. Was getting a little bit of some training in myself. That was it. That's it. You guys can see.
I see you in the dojo.
Yeah, I'm in the Kung Fu school. Like in Chinese, like the term dojo is a Japanese term, right? Chinese, Chinese Kung Fu is Chinese martial arts. So the Chinese term would be the Mo Gun, which means the martial gym or the military gym. That's what that means. Yeah, that's it. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's give people a tour, man. Hold on.
Give us a tour, man, before we get into this subject.
First, one of the most important things, you guys see this behind me?
Yeah.
That is the Kung Fu altar. See that?
Oh, that's deep. They got the altar?
Yeah, we have
brother Ron in the building.
It's Ron.
Y'all thought I was gonna be late, huh?
Nah, you here. We here, man. It feels different doing the live. I'm waiting for the comments to come in and the people to populate.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, we got 3 people on watching us right now, so
that's what's up. So this is the Kung Fu altar. Now, this is important because Kung Fu schools are not religious. So when you hear altar, people think, oh, religion. No, it's not religious at all. What you have with the altar is another culture's way of honoring ancestors, just like how we have family heirlooms or we have a photo album. You know what I'm saying? So it's the way that another culture honors its ancestors, right? So, like, for instance, even in the Neuroscience Symbol of America, we have a chapter that talks about filial piety, or talks about, how the children relate to the elders, how the youth relate to the elders. And filial piety is a concept that's taught in Confucianism, or Confucius taught, right? And so that's why you see on the altar, you see food, you see drink, you see that?
I see that, yeah.
Yeah. Why? Well, Mike, you already kind of know why.
yeah. Energy and ancestors.
Right.
Elements.
There you go. And so from the Confucian perspective, you treat the dead as if they're still around.
That's true.
You treat them as if they're still around. You see what I'm saying? And so now with the Kung Fu altar, let me go back to it. It has three levels. 3 levels. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
So you've got the upper level. With the upper level, you see this guy? That's General Quan, or we call him Guanggong. General Quan is considered the patron saint for martial arts. He was a real general during the 3 Kingdoms period. But he was known for unwavering honesty, loyalty, and bravery. Unwavering. So, this is deep. A quick story about him. He was so loyal. This was during the 3 Kingdoms period. So you had China was divided by 3 different warring factions. So he was loyal to one king, but he ended up getting captured by another more capable king, right? And that king admired his loyalty so much that he wanted to win him to his side. But here's the issue. If he switched loyalties, he's no longer loyal. He can't admire her. See how deep that? See what I'm saying?
That's all mental right there. That's very.
Yeah. So the second level of the altar represents the people in my Kung Fu lineage. Okay. Yep. So this is my great-grand teacher, and that's my grand teacher, right? And then you have the bottom part of the altar. Bottom part gives honor to the people that lived in the geographic area of the school. Yeah, so it's a way of showing respect. That's really what it is. It's not religious at all.
It's beautiful. It's deep, man. The concept is deep.
Yes, sir. Now,
he dropped out. He'll be back.
Yeah,
I think that happens every once in a while. What's going on, everybody out there? Today we're talking about the power of words. The power of words. We got to add them back in. Here we go.
Okay, yep. I don't know what that was.
Cool. The energy, brother. The energy.
So now over here, I got to clean up. It's a little messy, right? We got equipment. It's a little messy. Got our weapons. The weapons are real. We teach the real, authentic usage of them as well, right? And over here, more equipment. See?
I peek.
Yep. More equipment. Cool. And one of my wooden dummies. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
This one hits back.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, if you can send me where you get that one from, I'm buying that one.
I got you. And then this one, yeah, this one hits back. Yeah. So this one is for more long range use. Trains the long range, and then this one is for short range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, today is about the power of words. I don't know if you brothers got into that.
Not yet. Let's do it.
Not yet. He was giving a tour. We briefed the
subject. Tour.
Yeah,
right. My bad. I wasn't on.
He's in the dojo. I mean, keep saying dojo. He's in the
school. Just say the school.
Just say the school. Doing this thing.
That's Japanese, right?
Yeah. He brought me that.
Yeah. So we're talking about the power of words. This is pretty much the first one we're gonna do, and I'm kind of setting it up for you to build with the brother Sunyaz Allah next week about the power of words. And I thought about doing this power of words because I think I got the inspiration to do this from all the past podcasts that we've done. We've done the one with you, we've done ones with the 5% Nation, and also we've done with Mason. So
absolutely,
where I'm realizing where everything is getting mixed up, like the God Infinite said, is things are just getting lost in translation. Things are getting lost in just the words. You get what I'm saying? So I think it would be best for us to really talk about the power of words and why things get lost in translation and the history behind words, etc.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Great conversation. That's a great conversation. In really ancient times, when I say ancient, I'm talking borderline prehistoric. Prehistoric basically means before there was written recorded history.
Exactly.
Savage doesn't mean people were uneducated. It just means before there was written recorded history. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even in China, we're talking 5,000 plus years ago. That's a long time, right? You guys have seen like the symbols, like the trigram symbols, where there's three lines.
Yeah.
Either the line is straight or the line is broken, and then it's combinations of them, right? Yeah. Well, even that, the idea was that's written language, but it's very simple. But in those days, it was simple. Why? Because you needed a symbol that would convey a lot of information in a simple form. So it wasn't savage because it was simple. It was actually pretty advanced. You see what I'm saying? The more language became developed, the less and other mental faculties became.
Exactly.
So now we've got very elaborate language, right? We've got very elaborate language in terms of words or whatever. You know what I mean? But we don't.
Can you repeat that, brother?
I say, yeah, we don't think because we have to.
Exactly.
See? Now you all know. I know you both know, but Brother Braun, I know you. You know, a big part of leadership is learning the skill of saying more.
You're breaking up.
You're breaking up, brother. I hear it.
Okay, I said a big part of leadership, a very valuable leadership skill is learning the skill of saying more with
saying more with less.
Saying more with less. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, saying more with less. You know what I'm saying? That's a skill where I can get a whole lot across with few words. Yeah, that's a skill. You see?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, the words. Also, here's the other thing. See, with that ability, right? You begin to see how words program people.
That's a fact.
How words the ability of the person using the words, if they understand how they can program people. Now that sounds very, that sounds like casting spells and okay, whatever you want to call it. Look up neuro-linguistic programming.
NLP, that's a fact. Suggestive speaking.
There you go. It's casting. Plain and simple.
Plain and
simple. It's influence technology. That's what it is.
Yeah. Hypnosis use that.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned that, it's true because symbols was a greater way of communicating.
Yes.
As us who travel, because it invokes an idea, the perception.
Your head.
Yeah. And words, also give the power. It's giving it the symbol rate has life. It manifests in your head.
Yes.
And then the word is that you bring out the frequency, you put it in a form to,
who in the modern time, the modern era, who really, 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 really tapped into this power.
Yeah.
MCs, hip hop.
Exactly.
MCs did. Hip hop did. Hip hop, in a very real sense, we just don't give ourselves enough credit for it, brought that back. That's a skill. It's a science of being able to paint pictures in the mind with words.
Right. I want to go into this now. The issue that I'm speaking of in terms of like words is things getting lost in translation is that you have a group of people, right? We're gonna call them Asiatics for the lack of a better term. So-called black people, right? So we got so-called black people in the diaspora, African people, right? Yes. Now, even me saying that could isolate or cut other people off, right? But they can quite possibly have the same bloodline.
Absolutely.
So I think that we're getting lost in points of history.
Yes.
And language.
Yes.
And colonialism.
Well, colonialism is in large part is the culprit.
Right.
Because colonialism brought an artificial narrative. And now we begin to live in that narrative and function in that narrative. We create various sub-narratives that are based on that narrative, which is a lie. For instance, you have racism, which is a direct tool of colonialism, right? And then amongst us, you have colorism, which is based on racism. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So other sub-narratives develop that are based on a wrong idea.
Right.
You know, and that's why you have but again, it serves the colonial objective. As long as they can't unify, we're safe.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they can't come together, we're safe. See what I'm saying?
Right.
That's so it serves the parent narrative.
That's a
You know?
fact.
Right. It serves it. We say Asiatic. Some people will be like, yeah, I don't subscribe to that. But now what is necessary, and I think this is where you're trying to go, Brother Ron, what's necessary is we need interpretation. We need interpreters. You know, we need the people that the ability to speak different languages. And I don't mean in the literal sense, Spanish, English, Italian. I don't mean that. We're using the same words with different ideas about the same words.
That's a fact.
So
The
we
science.
we need to really be able to understand each other.
Right.
And Prophet Noble Drew Ali said it like this. He said, be not like the horse and the mule between whom there's no understanding. In other words, y'all just look the same. Can't produce nothing. See? How we used to say in the day in the 5% Nation, make your understanding understood.
To go back to that, it's a lot of sciences behind that. We got to take in consideration as well. Because, you know, people that are esoteric, occultic things could speak life into, like, water is already is an intelligent being itself, element. Where you could change the frequency of water by speaking into it, right?
Fact.
You could change the molecule. So the human body has a high percentage of water itself. So the power, the words, the frequencies could alter your perception. Because certain things somebody could say could change your mood.
Absolutely.
So this is why, you know, there's sciences like the meditation of the Om and everything else that would change that vibration.
Yes, sir.
Because you can see it. It's like speaking life to a plant.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And as you already know, Brother Mikey, sometimes it's not even the words themselves, it's the tone.
Exactly. The
tone. Vibration, yeah.
Yep.
You know, you could do that with a pet dog. You could be cursing the dog out, calling all kinds of crazy names. But if you're saying it in a nice voice, in a calm voice, dog's gonna wag his tail. Dog's gonna, you see what I'm saying?
Prime example. When to get off topic, but this is something I watched with Obama.
Yes.
Another person who used double speech and LOP.
Yes.
There are a lot of things that he was saying that were not in the benefits of so-called black people, but the tone he used and the words and the way. Because communication is not only verbal, it's the body language.
Listen,
you get what I'm saying?
Don't see that get by our our guards, right?
Exactly.
The thing you don't perceive that gets through. So subtle communication is infinitely more powerful.
That's a fact. Now, just to bring it back to the original thought of this podcast is you're right and exact, right?
Yes.
However, before we even get to that,
yes,
how can we have to use actual words to meet in the middle.
Woo, you have to have a starting point.
Right. Because I'm 5%.
Yes.
You're a more.
Yes.
And you're a whatever over here.
Right.
And what I think, what I know.
Yes, sir.
You guys don't follow the same thing.
Right.
But really, we're saying the same thing technically.
We're saying the exact same thing for the most part.
But we don't understand that because we're not having that dialogue.
Can I share? And I want to your point, I want to share an experience I had years ago at Auburn State Prison here, in upstate New York. Auburn's a max. And we had a prison ministry, right? And the reason why we got called, to do ministry work there is because the 5%ers, right, in New York are considered a security threat group in the prison system. So they were forbidding them to meet. Well, one of the brothers, his brother I actually knew, did a little research and said, well, wait a minute, in the prison system, the Neuroscience Temple of America can meet. So what they did is they told the warden and they told the chaplain, oh, we're the Neuroscience Temple of America. So they were meeting. But then the chaplain caught on and said, I don't know. So he said, they told him, he said, you got to contact an actual temple on the outside and have them facilitate your meetings. So they did. They contacted us. We came. We were holding meetings. So we'd hold Friday and Sunday meetings, and then we'd hold a Wednesday study meeting. Well, the very first Wednesday study meeting we held, man, they came out in numbers. Because they came out, because come on, what you got to do in prison? Sit, read, right? So they were quite familiar with the doctrines, you know, in terms of the words. So they're like, listen, we got problems. We got some points that we want to discuss. You know, you all say two major things. They said the whole black thing, black coincidence means death. They had issues with that. They also had issues with the main one, right? Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? Allah's Father of the universe. Can you see him? No. They had issues with question number 3. Why? Because in Lost Found lesson number 2, 1 to 40, right? About, the question regarding why does the devil teach that the Almighty True and Living God is a spook that can't be seen with the physical eye, right?
Okay.
And then they answer, and then it says, but he is not unseen, he is seen and heard everywhere, for he is the all-eye seeing. Right? All right.
Wait, you said that was question number 2?
No.
Oh,
Lost
okay.
to the 1 to 40. It's in the 1 to 40.
Oh, it's in the 1 to 40. Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's in the
Yeah.
So they said, well, explain. I said, no problem. Right? I said, let's begin Islamically. Let's begin where we agree. Let's begin with what we know and go from known to unknown. That's scientific. They said, okay. I said, all right. You say man is God. They say, yes. Right? Like in the song in the Enlightenment, culture is I God. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We say that man and Allah are one. Aren't we saying the same thing?
Yeah.
I said, now, here we go. It's easy. This is what we say. It's easy to say that man is God. That's easy. Okay, man is God. What is man? You tell me. Right? And they were like, they got a little quiet.
But then I could turn back around and say, man is God.
Yeah, but then you don't get anywhere. Now we have circular logic.
Well, I could then say, man is God. Man is the outright. I would say, well, the so-called black man or the black man,
right,
would be the outward expression of what people would refer to as being God, right?
I like
so
that.
You would be the actual God. Like,
I like
so
that.
there's no mystery because you're looking right at him.
Well, you're looking at what? You just said your words were what?
You're looking at
it's the
God.
outward expression.
Yeah, manifestation of God.
It's right, but are we looking at the God or are we looking at the expression?
I would say we're looking at the God because the God and the expression is one and the same.
But what happens? God is almighty, eternal, and eternal. Am I right?
Okay, yeah.
What happens when that flesh goes into the ground?
Then it carries on through
energy,
children or other so-called black men.
But here's the key thing: you said it. What is
but that was the whole point of the word issue. Now, like, I'm saying it because I'm trying to quickly get to a point so we can, you know what I mean?
Carry on the conversation. But I see what he's saying. The hang-ups.
But what is the it? What is it if it's not the flesh?
It's energy, ether.
Well,
unknown.
The ether and the flesh is one and the same.
But okay, but is the flesh permanent or temporary?
Temporary.
The flesh is temporary
Yes.
if you don't bear any, if you don't have any children, if you don't have any.
Well, that's more genetic.
No.
I see where he's going with it.
To have children.
My DNA is they are made in the likeness and the image of me.
Of God.
That's their image. Who are they?
I see where he's going.
They would be.
In other words, follow me. You helped via DNA. You helped to craft a dwelling. Of course, it's going to look like you. Of course, it's going to have some of your mannerisms. You helped to craft a dwelling. What's in the dwelling, though?
Energy. Concept of God.
Now, when I asked these very same questions to the brothers at Auburn, they answered like Mikey. They said, oh, well, it's that, the God was like, oh, well, we return to that essence, man is that essence. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to disagree with you. We're just using two different words to describe the same thing. You say essence, I say spirit. Okay. We're using two different words to describe because the word is not the thing. And that's the point. The word points to the thing.
Oh, man, he's talking about the book of John. In the beginning was the word.
The word points to the thing. If you're a Spanish speaker, you don't call a door, you call a door la puerta.
Well,
Are you wrong, even though we're using two different words? Are you wrong?
Well, this is where things get kind of like dicey a little bit, because me personally, I think like I would say I think like a 5%, right?
Yes.
Right. A scientist, right? So I'm not just gonna just say, all right, yeah, I'm not gonna just believe what's said. I'm gonna say what I see is that I'm dealing with science. I'm dealing with science. I'm dealing with the fact that I don't die. I do continuously live through my children.
Is that the only way?
I live through memories and through and deeds and things that I've done.
Okay, I like that. Now, here's the other thing. Let's talk about the children piece, right? Are you your daughter, bro?
And well, my daughter would be me because she came later.
Is she you though?
She looks exactly like me.
She noticed, but look at what did you answer?
And I'm gonna tell you this now. Yeah. I like this question.
Yes.
I see. Oh man, I see.
No. Hold on. I like this question. I like this question because is she me? She's a woman, but she looks exactly like me. That's one.
Yes.
Two, her personality is almost exactly like mine. Yes. So she can get that from just being around me, or it could be
that's genetic.
It could be my energy in my DNA that she inherited.
Genetic. That's genetic. Yeah, that's genetic.
Yeah.
Now, the old classical thought in the West, the old classical scientific Western thought on that is that genetics is the end all be all. But we know better. With scientists like Maywan Ho, with scientists like Rupert Sheldrake, we know better. It's beyond DNA because DNA gets instructions.
Yes.
See? We know better. Now let's go. I want to go back to science, right? How do we define science? This is important. This is a matter of fact, I want to do a show on this in the near future. Science versus scientism, two different things. What the European psychology did to religion, it did to science too.
Yeah.
And we can prove it. See? So nowadays, follow me. Science is interpreted to be the study and the observation and study of the physical world.
They forgot the metaphysics.
Well, I'm going to say this. This is the actual definition. I
Go ahead.
think this is why a lot of us get it all mixed up, right?
Go ahead.
And we end up going at it.
Yes.
Science is a rigorous.
Yes.
I love that word.
Absolutely.
Because that makes more that makes science more.
Right.
That makes me understand what science is actually.
Right.
So
Right.
science is a rigorous,
Correct.
systematic endeavor.
Yes.
That builds and organizes knowledge in a form of testable explanations and predictions about the world.
I like that. I like that definition.
I love that definition.
I really love that definition. But now watch this.
Oh, wait. There's more. There's more. Modern science is typically divided in three major branches.
Mm-hmm.
The natural sciences,
yes,
e.g., physics, chemistry, biology, which studies the physical world.
Yes.
That's one. The social science, e.g., economics, psychology, and sociology.
Yes.
Which studies individuals and societies.
Yes.
And the formal sciences, e.g., logic, mathematics, theoretical computer science, which study formal systems governed by axioms and rules.
Exactly.
Now, this disagreement whether the formal sciences are science disciplines, as do they rely on empirical evidence, implied science. Now, that's my thing, empirical evidence.
Now, here's my question.
I'm big on empirical evidence.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
How do you define empirical?
Empirical evidence is
proven.
From what I look at the definition, but what I was looking at the definition from the way I see it is from trial and error. Basically, you do something and you see if it works or not, or you basically take it to the lab.
Yes.
And you try to show and prove whether it's right and exact or not. And then from that test, then you can come to a conclusion whether that is right and exact or not.
Let's run a scientific experiment right now. Scientific, based on all the things that you just mentioned. It's rigorous, right? It's systematic. It's based on observation. All those things.
Yep.
All right. Brother Ron, give us a short phrase to repeat. Anything. I don't care what it is.
Like, whoa.
Funny. Here we go. Here's one, right? Here's one. Man is God. Say it. Go. Say it.
Man is God.
Say it, Brother Mikey.
Man is God.
All right. Now I want you to say it in your head. Go. Okay. First question. Did you hear yourself?
No, but I know how that happened.
No.
Did you hear yourself?
No.
No, but I know the science. I know I have a scientific explanation of how I can hear myself. I know I can't hear myself.
Wait.
Hold on. No, that I can't hear myself. Hold on. I can't hear myself.
Ron's like, I'm telling you, Ron is never surrender.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Now look. Now I can't hear myself because it's in my brain.
Okay. I like that. Keep going.
It's in my brain. And the way you hear things is from, sound.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Now, I said man is God in my brain.
Stop.
Okay.
You did what?
I said man is
Stop.
God.
Did what?
Yeah, you see the language.
No mouth in your brain? There's no mouth in your brain.
Yeah, he's going by the words.
This is observation. This is science.
But guess what? A chemical response and reaction is happening in the brain to create these thoughts. And you in your visual, in your mind, you're visualizing through day-to-day, practices and things like that, since a baby, so in your mind, you man is God in your head. You know what I mean? You could say it in your head.
No, verbalize. Explain what took place then.
Hold
on. Keep in mind, you can't, in the technical sense, say you said anything or heard anything, because it takes a mouth to say something and ears to hear it. All right. So what happened?
I repeated what I said in my mind. I repeated what you told me to say in my mind.
How?
By the chemical reactions and causes that scientifically happen in the brain when you have a thought.
Reef is looking at more of a technical aspect of it.
No.
The motors.
Very, but we have chemical reactions going on right now every second. Hundreds. So which ones are you in control of?
I'm in control of all of them.
You sure?
Yeah, you know how I'm gonna prove it. You know how I'm gonna prove it right now. Well,
can you voluntarily regulate insulin in your body right now?
Can I voluntarily regulate
insulin production
in my body
right now?
Right now. Like right now, as I'm sitting here right now, I can't grab nothing.
No, I can't. Right now, it's your body. It's inside you.
I mean, I could try to figure it out, but I haven't figured that out. However, I can do this. I can pick up an apple. I can take a bite of it, and then boom.
But it is happening. It is right as we speak. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening without your volition, and that's the key word: volition. It's happening without your volition. So when I said, "Say man is God," in your head, and you did it, something happened. And it was based on your volition, not something just arbitrarily, an arbitrary human process. Volition was involved. What's another word for volition? Directed will. Can you show me will, brother?
Can I show you will? Yeah.
Do it. Let me see.
I just picked up my cell phone.
No, what you showed me was the result of will.
I mean, I can't show you will per se because I don't have like a way to like, hook my brain up to, what you call those things?
ECG.
Electroids.
EKG, right?
EKG,
for you to see will on the
activity.
Guess
what, brother? We wouldn't even see will. What would you see? Electrical
activity,
impulse.
light. Yeah,
that would be a result of will.
It's not will. That's an indication.
Reef.
That's not will.
So Reef. Not to cut your wisdom and experiment. Hey. Are you trying to go into that concept of thought that man is the will of Allah? No, you can't. No. It's just
no. I want to keep it right where we are at scientific analysis and observation.
That's what I was.
Here's my point, because I don't want to belabor it too long. Here's my point. Yeah. We all know without a shadow of a doubt that we are possessed of will. But not a one of us on this planet can show will to anyone. By the common understanding of Western science, they would say you don't have a will because you can't show it. But we know darn well we do, don't we?
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, that brings me to this point right here.
Go ahead, brother. Yes.
Now, will was a word created.
That's a word, but we know the word points to something, don't we?
Right. It points to a particular action, I would say.
Action of what?
Action of one or an entity who can make things manifest.
Right. right. I would agree with that, but can you show me?
Can I what? Say that again.
Etymology.
Can you show me?
I can't.
Can you show me that entity?
Can I show you that entity? That
here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going, Brother Ron and Brother Mikey. I'm gonna show you where I'm going.
Okay.
Let's go back. The origin of Western psychology. Psychology, by definition, is the study of the existence of the soul. Descartes was eager to prove its existence to Queen Elizabeth. Okay? And so he goes, at one point, keeps getting shot down. He's like, all right. He just stayed in his house. He says, I'm just not going to move until it comes to me. So he sat. And then finally he goes, wait a minute. I'm thinking. Cogito ergo sum. That's where that phrase comes from. He said it. I think, therefore I am. He runs back to Queen Elizabeth and he's like, yes, I got proof. She goes, what's your proof? He goes, I'm thinking. She still shot him down. You know what she said? I can't see your thoughts. Boom. This is what the West did. The West, we're going right back to Western psychology, the European psychology. The West took, first of all, here we go. Anything material, if I want to measure or analyze something material, I need a tool made of the same substance. This is a rule, people. This is a law. I can only measure a thing with something of like substance. That's it. You see? So one of the biggest differences between Eastern thinking and Western thinking is that the Eurocentric view took consciousness out of the game as a tool of measurement. Took it out. That is how, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it, put the Asiatic man to sleep. Took the one major tool that we use to do what? Measure and analyze everything, and took it out of the game. So now today, Western science is, the observer ruins the experiment because observation of the phenomena changes the phenomena. Woo! That's called Occam's razor. Let me say it again. Observation of the experiment changes or affects the experiment.
Pretty deep.
That means consciousness is immaterial, but affects material things.
That's a fact.
So let's do our little experiment, right? If we're trained to believe that consciousness is make-believe or is just in my head, it's imagination, hence not real, then we go with, so that we take it out of the equation. We kill ourselves. We put ourselves to sleep. Now it's, thoughts are just electrical impulses. No, the electrical impulses are manifestations of the fact that you're thinking. See? They're manifestations, they're extensions of, they're results of thought. And the only way you're going to be able to analyze scientifically or observe the non-physical is with something non-physical.
So you're alluding to using the right side of your brain more.
Bingo.
So that's why when they tell children, like, have imaginary friends, some parents become afraid. I'm gonna get my child evaluated in X, Y, and Z because they, coming up with, our thoughts and everything else.
I want to bring up somebody, Ron, you're familiar with him, because matter of fact, one of the first times we talked, you brought him up. What's the guy's name? The European's name? Not Doug Braden. It's another one.
Joe Dispenza.
Dispenza. He talks about left brain, right brain. And he says something that's very, very, not just him, but other people too. Right brain is connected to the universe. Right brain knows everything. That little baby knows everything, has access to everything, just can't express. Right? Left brain, I'll oversimplify. This is an oversimplification. Right brain is intuition, left brain intellect.
Exactly.
Left brain's job, all the stuff that right brain is connected to, left brain's job is to ask the question, is this necessary? Is it useful? If it's not, tosses it out. And then guess what begins to form? Patterns. The left brain forms patterns. And those patterns become the agreed upon reality. Mikey knows this. Orders like the order he belongs to. One of the biggest objectives in the beginning of the training is to break down what the left brain assembled.
Exactly. That's a fact.
Break down what the left brain's assembled and then reassemble it to absorb and to accommodate what the right brain has to offer.
It makes you more responsive, not reactionary.
Ta-da, you change your worldview. The worldview is changed.
Yep.
Before you can start talking about the possibility of human beings levitating or flying, you got to first believe it. You got to change what the left brain did. The job of the left brain is to interpret the right brain, not to say it or not to replace it. That's the job. The job of the left brain is to interpret the intuition. The job of the left brain is to bring the higher energies from higher realms down to 3D for their use on the plane of manifest. That's his job.
Exactly.
What do? We put the right brain to sleep, and we have the employees running the plant. That's what we do.
Well, going back to the power of words,
yes,
and where we were going with this is that we were like talking about how the differences between the teachings of the 5% Nation and the different teachings of the Neuroscience Temple and of America, and that they're basically saying the same thing. However, you brought up the time where you were, were you a minister in the prison or no?
Yeah, but they were now, and they ended up agreeing. Matter of fact, let me tell another experience with them on the same day, using the Nation of Islam teaching, the 5% teaching, the self-creation of the first God. You know this teaching, right? The way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught it, right? There was a substantive darkness, 3 layers of it called triple darkness.
Triple stages of darkness.
Stages of darkness, and they were all rotating. And in the middle stage, there was an atom of life. The atom of life began to rotate. And the atom of life began to gain mass for itself. And slowly, over eons of time, it formed a brain.
And guess what?
Yes.
Isn't that in connection with the same thing in the beginning of the Circle 7 Quran?
It's chapter 1, bro.
Chapter 1.
It's literally chapter 1.
Right.
So Allah, the husband that is, cast forth the human seed into the soil of soul, it grew apace. The soil of soul is the ethers of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast. It's
right.
Middle plane. All right, cool. You get that. So you see the parallel.
Yeah.
All right. And so that atom of life grew, expanded, formed a brain, and formed a spine, and formed a body. Boom. You got the first creation of the first God, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the question. What did the forming? Was it chance? Or was it the God?
It was the God.
Thank you. We all agree.
Right.
Hey, see my point?
But see the way you say it, the way you talk about it, it doesn't. It make like speaking from a 5% perspective.
Yes.
If I hear you say that the way you say it,
yes,
sometimes,
yes,
then I'm gonna go. Wait, is he talking about a spook God,
right?
or is he talking about the God?
But even the 5%er who is, let's take, I'm not saying this is you, but let's take the staunch 5%er who is just locked in physicality. If it ain't physical, it ain't real, right? Even they have to admit that the God created itself.
Yeah.
Which presumes what? There was a time when it didn't have a body.
All this is familiar. All this sounds familiar. I'm telling you.
See, we agree.
And that's what I was alluding to earlier, Sharif, when I said the thought.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's until it's manifested.
For sure.
Everything is just in the ethers until it becomes a solid.
Right. And what we're talking about literally is just two ends. Let's take, I use a martial arts perspective or a martial arts analogy. In Chinese martial arts, you have what we call internal arts and external arts. They're really not different. They're just talking about two vantage points of where you begin. Real good skill, real high level skill is internal and external combined. That's what it is. It's just talking about point of reference. Where did you start? Did you start with training the intangible parts of yourself? There we go again, right? Training the feelings, training intensity, training, you see what I'm saying? Training subtle energy and then went to the physicality. Or did you start with the physicality and then develop those other qualities later? That's it. That is what determines the difference between internal and external, where you started, right? Ideally, you end up here where you got both. See that? So it's like one of the biggest differences between the teachings of the More Science Symbol of America and the teachings of the Nation of Islam or the 5% is his vantage point. That's all. One of the teachings is more spiritual oriented and one is more physical oriented, but it's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
See,
I would say one is more mathematically or science-based taught as far as the 5% nation is concerned.
Well, let me ask you this question, Brother Vaughn. Is it possible, and it's kind of a rhetorical question, is it possible to scientifically analyze and observe non-physical things?
Observe non-physical things?
Analyze and study.
Yeah.
How?
Is it possible to study non-physical things?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Here, I'll take it even a step further. I'll use that word a lot of people don't like. Is it possible to scientifically analyze spiritual phenomena?
Now, when you say spiritual, this is what I'm saying about the words, man. That's what I'm saying. Like right here, like, okay, if you say spiritual,
yes,
it's gonna go like this. Okay, what do you mean?
I agree. Because many people, especially 5%ers, you say spiritual, to them that's analogous to spooky.
It throws them off, yeah.
But you have to go right back to the story of the teaching on the self-creation of the first God. Like, well, what was God before he made his body? Was he spooky or was he real? Boom. See? Was he spooky or was he real?
Because nobody know what took place in the triple darkness.
Real? Did he go from spooky to real, or was he always real?
Why? Instead of using spiritual, why can't we say? Can we say etheric?
We could say etheric. Now I can. So I can do that, right? Why can't materialist thinking people say spiritual and remove the spooky from it?
Western psychology again.
Because but no, think about it. Because at the end of the day, the words are just pointing to a reality. If we both can see the same reality, who cares what word we use?
That's a fact.
I'm not mad at you for saying etheric. I'm like, that's cool. I get it. As long as we're talking about the same thing. That's all. As long as we're talking about the same thing. Now, I'll answer my own question, and Mikey can corroborate me on this. The whole the whole science of gematria and Kabbalah is an entire system of mathematically analyzing and observing spiritual phenomena.
That's a fact. It is.
It's actual discipline, just like differential equations, just like calculus. It is a mathematical method of observing and analyzing spiritual phenomena.
Now, I want to say this real quick.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's say I'm a 5%er.
Yes.
I study Supreme Mathematics Alphabet 120.
That means you study a rudimentary version of Kabbalah.
Now,
Axiom. It's an axiom.
now, let's say
Yes.
I studied just that. I'm going to ask you to show and prove to me that the connections between Kabbalah and Supreme Mathematics and alphabets, etc.
Sure.
And show and prove to me that the Kabbalah is a science and a method to measure etheric energies.
Sure. First of all, let's despookify spiritual. Right? Brother Mikey, can you count by 5?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do it, please.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45,
Stop.
50, 55, 60.
Okay,
Right?
there you go. After saying 5, the 5 is invisible, isn't it? Why? Because 5 is pattern.
Yes.
The pattern is invisible, but you know the pattern because of its effect on the visible.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, I didn't say 5, but all it takes is for me to run to run the sequence 3 times.
Yeah. Yo, you know what? Continue. I'm add on to that. Continue with the 3 times.
I want to go into the word. I like to since we dealing with words, right? And you know, I'm about actual facts and showing and proving, right? And through the Moorish teachings, you know, I got into really looking at words and all of that.
Absolutely.
So now, spirit.
Yes.
An animating vital principle held to give life to physical organisms. That was the first thing said.
Okay.
And that's basically what you're alluding to.
In general, yes.
Yeah. Now, this is where it gets spooky.
Go ahead.
Supernatural being, I wouldn't even say this is spooky, depending on who you're talking to, whether your mind is open or not. A supernatural being or essence, such as, now this is the spooky part, Holy Spirit.
Why is that spooky?
Because then when you think about the Holy Spirit, you're talking about Christianity.
Nah, see, here we go. Now we're not talking about words. Now we're talking about narratives that have been attached to words prematurely or ahead of time. So we're talking about word association now, not words. We're talking about word association. So we have come to accept when we hear spirit, it's spooky because we've associated spookiness with the word and spooky things with the word. You see what I'm saying? Yes. But we have to end. Those are biases. We've accepted them, but we have to recognize that they're biases. And guess what? We haven't analyzed them sufficiently. We have not analyzed our own biases sufficiently because by that definition, given the experiment we did where I said, say those words, say man is God in your head, you're supernatural.
Right.
But you're real right there in that chair talking to me right now. But by that definition, you're supernatural.
Right, but if we get deeper into the word spirit, it then goes into ghost.
Okay. What's ghost? What's a ghost?
A ghost is something that was created by movies.
It's an apparition.
Once again, see, once again, that's word association. and
Yeah.
and a pre-accepted bias, right?
Mhm.
What is a ghost? Ghost is a person just out of the body, just a discarnated individual.
Mhm.
See, that's where it gets, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, here's the next question: are you the body or are you not?
You live in your body.
Thank you.
You live
Yeah.
in your body.
Yes. Do you realize that many times ghosts are thought forms of other people while they're knocked out sleep?
Mhm.
maybe it's their mind playing tricks on them.
No,
But
maybe.
don't they say
Let me
the gods
repeat
say
that.
return to
I got.
essence?
Hold
Go
on a
ahead. Go
second.
ahead.
You know where I'm going with this, Mikey. No, I'm
Mhm.
talking about Ron going to sleep and him having a very deep dream, but he's actually astral traveling. And then Mikey waking up the next day and saying, "Yeah, I heard you in my house rumbling around."
Well,
You
see, this is where I'm saying
and
this
you
type
saying,
of stuff that you're talking about,
and,
we got to show and prove this. You get what I'm
and
saying? Because, like, I'm not a
hold
believer in,
but hold on, Ron. Hold on,
yeah.
Ron. You replying, that's interesting because I had a dream that I hung out with you. Now, we could bring people like this on the show. I know them personally
Mhm.
that are skilled at this phenomenon. If it's possible, then we can train it. This happens accidentally. But
Yeah.
if you can apprehend the phenomenon and begin to understand it and study it, you can train it and you can improve it. Just like I can improve my basketball game. That said, I could bring somebody on your show right now who's so skilled at what we're talking about that they could say, Brother Ron, go to sleep, right? When you go to sleep tonight, I want you to think about the Eiffel Tower as you're going to sleep, right? When you talk to this same brother the next day, he's going to tell you what you were wearing in your dream that night.
Now, here's the thing. I want to say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my thing is, whatever can be shown and proven, and I bear witness to it,
Yes.
I'm going to say, I saw, you know,
No doubt. Of
it
course.
is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Of
but it
course.
has to be shown and proven.
Of
So
course.
I'm not gonna say like I've never experienced
Yeah.
anything like astral travel.
I'm not going to Yeah.
However, I
Yeah.
have experienced some strange things
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't explain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I wasn't high, drunk, tired,
Right.
lack of water, lack
Right.
of food. I was
Right.
straight up like this,
Clear
and
thinking.
I've seen some things.
Yes. Yeah.
And
You have,
don't know, don't
using the
know what,
scientific term, you observed a phenomenon. Okay.
Yep, it's real.
so I'm not saying that I'm not gonna say this stuff is all bull crap because I haven't examined it
Correct.
to show and prove whether it's right and exact or not.
And that statement is scientifically responsible.
Yep.
That's
You got
scientifically responsible. You see?
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, for us, the scientific method is belief, faith, and fruition. Well, that's a scientific method. Even from the Western perspective, it starts with belief. That's a theory or a hypothesis.
Mhm.
Then you
Yep.
must test. See, from hypothesis to theory. Then you keep testing it. It either remains a theory or it becomes a fact, an accepted fact. See how that
Exactly.
goes? Belief, faith, fruition. There you go. That's scientific.
Even though we're dealing with the power of words,
Yes.
you know, eventually I would like for you to bring up people that you say that
Yeah.
can show and prove some of these phenomenons.
Absolutely.
I remember one time, and there was this kind of like magic show on TV.
Yes, sir.
On TV, man. I would never forget it. I was a kid, man.
Yes.
And they had this, it was like these circles on the camera, I guess, or on the screen or whatever.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And they said, I think they said, touch one,
Yeah.
hold one, right?
Yeah.
Man, I did that. All the things were gone except for the one on my hand. How did that happen?
Yeah.
You know what? If you want to see something like
Trick,
that,
do you know it's a trick or what? Was that a phenomenon? What was that?
come hang out with me one weekend. I show you. I'll show you how brothers get down. You're gonna be shocked.
But Brother Ron, a lot of stuff. So and again, going back to the European psychology. The European psychology of the status quo, the European status quo literally created a world. What do we mean by created a world? They created a narrative. In other words, boundaries on how to think. We grew up in it. Like I give an example. The on West Africa, the Igbo people, which are genetically Hebrew, right? But the Igbo people, the Portuguese, after a while, developed a disdain for snatching them and putting them on slave ships. Know why? No sooner they get on the ship, they went overboard, killed themselves. And so, listen, the history books record it like this. Oh, well, they stopped. They had a disdain for getting them because, this is how the history books wrote it, the European history books. They were so proud of people that they would rather die than be enslaved. That's not true. That explanation fit the Eurocentric paradigm. Do you know what it really was?
What's that?
Their paradigm didn't believe that they were the physical flesh. You know what they did? They said, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. That wasn't what it was. They hit the reset button. That was their perspective. Nobody bothered to get their perspective. It wasn't, oh, we'd rather die. They're like, no, I can't die. I can't die, man. This is just a suit. I'll see you later. That's what they did.
They control their will. That was their will.
I hit the reset button because that's their thinking. That's the power of words for them.
Well, see, this is kind of deep because also I've studied some like yogi stuff and I forgot the yogi's name, but
stop his breathing.
Stop his breathing and slow down his heart rate.
Real talk.
And just died on his own.
Yes, Baird Spalding was a European missionary out of America that went to India during the British colonial period. Or not, he wasn't American. I think he was British, but he was a Christian missionary in India during the British colonial period in India, right? And his whole thing, I'm gonna preach to you guys and save your souls, you poor heathens. I'm gonna teach you all about Jesus, and he's talking about the resurrection and all that. They listened intently, and they were like, "Wow, that's really cool. We know somebody that could do something similar." What do you mean? He took them to go to this. Took them to this location of this yogi. His body was dried and wrinkled and everything. They prayed and poured water on him, and he got up and walked away. Baird Spalding stayed in India. He said, "Man, I'm done with this Christian stuff." Stayed in India, wrote a book. It's actually a series of 5 books on his experiences in India based on that. Yeah, the man was in suspended animation, but voluntary suspended animation.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up right now. Thank y'all for coming on and viewing us. We're gonna go live with the brother Sharif Wednesdays 7 p.m. Live with the brother Sharif Wednesdays 7 p.m. We do have a super chat. So if you want to ask the brother Sharif a question,
right,
put it in the super chat. Whatever donations you could, give, we would greatly appreciate it. It could be $1 or whatever.
I'll say one thing before, I know we way off.
Yeah.
Kabbalah, and some pre-mathematics, right? I was gonna say, yeah, I call it cipher, we call it kether.
There you go.
But here's the thing: cipher
Yeah.
and kether may be completely different because of the definitions itself. So
Right, yeah.
cipher. So what does kether mean?
Or
Kether is go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
The,
So,
the,
so
the kether, right?
uh-huh.
It can mean nothing. It's just like the cipher is complete. It can mean completion, right? But you don't know, is it complete or not?
In the more science symbol of America, we say ought and not.
Yeah, you could continually go. It's
Zero.
balanced. Yeah,
They're both a
yeah.
zero.
Yeah, because you know, a zero, because like mathematically we say it means nothing, though, but it still has value.
There you go. See,
It still holds a place in the universe. It's a number, something to hold.
Well, there is a such thing in the 5% Nation as something called Allah's World Manifest.
Allah's World Manifest, right?
So the way we think about things and the way we speak on things could be completely different from the world view. And people from, I'm gonna say the outside, so to speak,
Yes.
would look at it and say, "Oh, this is the same thing." But in the law of the world manifest, that's not how it's manifest in the world.
And brother,
that's not how it's said in Allah's world.
And brother Ron, that is exactly what I meant by saying we're just speaking different languages. And we have to have a discussion and a conversation so that
conversation
be understood.
Exactly, man.
That's all.
Exactly. It has to happen like on a continuous basis, so we could meet in the middle, and look at more commonalities than the differences.
Without doing that, brother, we're gangbanging, either passively or aggressively.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no unity. But that is what's meant in the Quran of Mecca, Surah 49, verse 13, or Ayat 13, where it's written, it says, "Surely we have made you, O man, from a single male and female into nations and tribes, that you may know one another and not despise one another." That's what that means. See? We have to have the conversation to realize that we're all saying the same thing.
Right.
Without the conversation,